Hey guys, this is going to be a review of the Mockingjay Part 1 movie, which I realize that I'm really late in getting to, like almost a month late. Before I get into any specifics, I just want to say that I loved the movie. I loved it a lot. And Mockingjay is my favorite Hunger Games book, which I know is not a lot of people's opinion. I love it though. I have this thing, and I've only discovered this in like the past few years or so, even though Mockingjay came out long before I ever had this realization, and it was still my favorite. Over the past few years, I've started to like really become aware of how much I really love stories that have kind of like political kind of background to it, and things like that. So all of the Hunger Games books have that, but I think Mockingjay has it in a way that the other books don't, and I really love that aspect of it. So I was really looking forward to Mockingjay, the movie Mockingjay, because of that. And I think that for a lot of people it's different. They like watching the Hunger Games and all of that for kind of the excitement of the games and everything, and so when it gets to Mockingjay and it is more political and Katniss is dealing with like PTSD, which I know like irritates a lot of people, but it's realistic, and I really like that portrayal, and I really like that it shows her struggling mentally, because in reality, if you went through what she did, you would not be incredibly healthy mentally. So I really love that, and I really love getting to see that instead of having that be after the end of the story when you don't get to see it. And I know other people don't, so I understand why that is, but I love Mockingjay. I love that part of the story. I love how everything's built up to this, and I just love Mockingjay a lot. So I was really excited for this movie, and I wasn't disappointed. I know a lot of people don't like that it was split in two. I get that, but personally I'm okay with it because it's my favorite of the series. And I just really like how they did it. I think they did an amazing job. Like, even if you can make the argument that it would have been better not split, I think knowing that it was going to be split and everything, I think that they did a really good job. I really loved how much of the book they were able to keep in the movie, because it feels like so much of it was there. I haven't really gone through and really thought about things that they cut out, but I just really love how it was done. Now I'm going to get into more specific things that's going to be spoilery, so spoiler alert if you haven't actually seen the movie, which I don't know why you wouldn't have yet when it's been out for a month. But my favorite scene in the entire movie by far was the hanging tree scene. That was amazing. Because I saw the movie somewhat late, I saw it about half of a week, almost a week I think after it came out. I'd heard a lot about the hanging tree, and I was excited for it before. I was excited to hear it because, you know, like, the book's been out for years, and I've created this kind of like melody for the hanging tree in my head, and so I was excited to see what it would actually be in the movie. And it wasn't like the exact melody obviously, but what they did was kind of similar to the kind of thing that I was thinking in my head, and I was really excited for that. But then what they did with that, like, which you can only do in a movie, so it couldn't have possibly been in the books, but just like starting with Katniss singing and then expanding on that into beautiful song with all of the people singing, and showing just the people rebelling while that was playing, was just such an incredible scene, and I love that scene to death. And I'm so happy with what they managed to do with that, because it could have been like I feel like just having Katniss singing it could have been an awesome scene, and I was looking forward to that anyway, but the way that they expanded on it and did that was incredible. And that was by far my favorite scene, because I think that was really powerful. It really showed how Katniss was inspiring everyone, and it like gave them an opportunity to show people actually rebelling against the Capitol, and just, I think, gave a good idea of what was happening outside of what was happening with Katniss, because she's so sheltered from huge portions of the rebellion. And I've already kind of said things along these lines, but I just really love how they really are at a war, in a war now, and I really think that the movie did a good job of showing that and of portraying that, and just seeing everything that's happening. And like, you're with Katniss, especially in the book. You never leave Katniss, so it's hard because she's the Mockingjay, but she's being kept from so much, especially in this first half, because before she gets to go to the capital, she's being kept from like a huge portion of the war, and so you don't really get to see it firsthand. And I really like how they were able to portray that in the movie and show like snippets of what was going on outside of in District 13, which is facing so little of the war actually. And I really love this movie. We got a lot of new characters in this movie, especially with Coin, and Annie was in it for a second but not much, and I really like everyone that we saw. I don't think that there was any like acting that I didn't like. I really like Natalie Dormer. This is the first thing I've seen her in because I don't watch Game of Thrones, or at least the first thing I remember seeing her in, but I've seen her a lot on Tumblr, and like I really wanted to like her because everyone reblogs her on Tumblr, and I really think that she did a good job as Cressida, and I just really liked all the portrayal. We finally got an Avox, because they were cut out of the first movie. I don't think they were in the second movie, so we finally got kind of an idea of what an Avox is in the movies, and I just really like how everyone's portrayal. I really liked Coin in the movie, like character-wise, not personally really liked her. But the thing is I really, really hate Coin in the books. I actually hate her more than Snow in the books, and we didn't really get that in the movie, and I'm okay with that because I really do like how she was portrayed. I can't remember the actress's name, and she's like a big actress, and I've seen her in multiple things before, and I still can't think of her name right now. But I think that she did a really great job, and I'm okay with how she was portrayed in this movie because I think what happens in the second half, and what they have to have happen, because it really like needs to happen story-wise, like, is going to be a bigger bombshell the more likable Coin is. But like, I think that they can still develop her character in the way that I think it needs to be at the end of the movie, like with what they have. But she wasn't as unlikable as she is in the books, but I think that's because it's only the first half of the book, and so you're not getting the second half. Whereas I read Mockingjay very quickly, and so I very quickly got like a developed opinion of her based on the entire book, and here we only have half of the book. I think they're doing a really good job with her character and everyone's character, and I'm really excited to see Annie again in the next book or next movie, because she was only there for like I think 5 seconds or something in this movie. But I'm really excited to see her in the next movie. The only downside to this movie, really, I think, is the fact that we have so little of Peeta and no Joanna, because they're two of my favorite characters. But that's not the movie's fault. That's how the story is set up and what I was expecting going in. I don't think Joanna is in it at all. She's mentioned, but I don't think she's actually shown, like even at the, no, she is shown at the end. I lied. She is shown at the end like Annie is. Really briefly, and I'm really excited to see more of her in the second movie. I really hope they keep in a lot of the stuff with her, and the fact that like she and Katniss become roommates and all of that. Like I really want that to be in the movie. And Peeta, I think Josh Hutcherson did an amazing job, because being hijacked has to be really difficult. And the ending of the movie, of course, it ends basically where I think almost everyone expected it to end, and where I expected it to end. And I've heard some people say that they wish that had ended right when Peeta strangled Katniss, because that would have been a cliffhanger. But I actually really, really like that they could have like just a little bit after that, because I think it did a good job of really showing how serious this was. If they had cut it off right when Peeta strangled Katniss, it would have been a cliffhanger, and people would have been wondering what was happening and everything. But I think it sends a more powerful message to end the movie, like really explaining what exactly the Capitol has done, and how they've like really, really hurt Peeta and made him into a weapon and a threat to Katniss, but also like really, really damaged him. And just, I think it sends a powerful message of what the Capitol's doing, and that wouldn't have been there without that scene. Like if he'd just shown her strangling Katniss, they could have added that in to the beginning of the second movie, but I think it was more powerful as an ending to this movie, like emotional wise. And I think ending with Katniss watching Peeta and watching Peeta struggle was more powerful than just watching Katniss get strangled would have been, because I think Katniss's emotions over that really like helps set the point of how terrible this is. And it's terrible in a way like not just him trying to kill Katniss, but this is just a terrible situation. And I think I'm struggling to try and like say this, I think, but I think it just sends a much more powerful message to see, because yeah, he strangles Katniss and he almost kills her, but I think what happens to Peeta is more damaging to Katniss from a mental standpoint, and seeing him in that pain, I think that hurts her more than him strangling her does. And you wouldn't have just seen that if it hadn't been explained further. I think seeing her just messed up after she sees Peeta is more powerful, because that's really, really how it's damaging Katniss, not just him strangling her. So I really liked that ending. I think that that's where it should have ended, and I really like that they did that. So this has gone on longer than I had wanted it to, so I think I've said everything that I want to say there. If I'd filmed this review sooner, I might have had more specific things to say, but I think I got like the biggest points and the things that have stuck with me in the weeks since seeing the movie. And I'm really looking forward to the second one, because like I said, Mockingjay is my favorite, and I'm really, really excited to see it. And yeah, so I'll see you guys later. Bye.